high, so far, so free, so free. Set the fire, light the sky, and the spirit wander with me. The wind stands in my ocean, everything. Of your motion, yet in all your mighty glory, vanished from the sky. Just another story, man-made life. They tell how you fell from the sky.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. And my guest today is WT Bill Samsel. Hello, Bill. How are you?
How you doing, Clay? It's great to be on your show.
Well, I'm pleased to have you. This you are a rather unique author. I've had lots of authors on here. Lots of people writing books out there. And but yours is, I find it an incredibly intriguing mixture. Would you mind if I shared a little bit of one of your first chapters here?
Oh, no, sure, go right ahead.
It was a cold, windy day as I sat behind my desk in my cozy little office waiting for a phone to ring that lately hadn't been ringing enough. I sat staring blankly at the wall, listening to the sultry sound of the sax player down the hall practicing for his next weekend's gig. I was trying to decide if I should get up and fix myself yet another drink. Suddenly the door burst open and a beautiful blonde bombshell in a fancy evening dress that fit just right in just the right places strolled into the room. She stood there in her spiked heels, looking utterly gorgeous at the same time a little bit dangerous. I say dangerous because in her pretty little hand was a great big .38 caliber snub-nosed Smith & Wesson with the business end was pointing right at my ticker. Are you Charlie Danger? That all depends, baby, I said. What's up with all the firepower? She looked at me with a perfect set of great big blue-green eyes. It's a precaution, Mr. Danger. Her voice was low and sexy. I'm a little nervous lately. Well, maybe we ought to talk about it, I said, as I gestured to the chair. Sit yourself down there, beautiful. Making sure to keep the barrel of that .38 pointed at my heart, she slowly seated herself, crossing her legs. And those were some legs, too, shaped just right and wrapped in nylon. I need your help, Mr. Danger, she purred. But first I need to know if I can trust you. Well, you can put that pea shooter away, baby, I said, as I lit up a cigarette, and then you can start giving me something to go on. I'm talking extortion. She shrugged and put her gun away in her purse while casually switching her legs around. I'm talking about extortion, high crimes, blackmail, slavery, high treason, and murder, Mr. Danger. Are you up to it? Look, I'm on a level with you, baby, I said. If you tell me what you got, I'll help you if I can. Otherwise, you're barking up the wrong tree. Look, Mr. Danger, it all has to do with Big Brother and secret government and a plot to bring down the entire United States and install one world government and a new world order. She took a cigarette from the case, placed it in a long ebony cigarette holder, looked at me expectantly. I got up, came around the desk, struck a match, and held it to her as she lit it up and puffed out a blue cloud of smoke that just sort of lingered in the air. You just said a mouthful, baby, but you need to be a little more specific, I said. Her smile disappeared. Sure thing, Danger. How about the biggest financial heist in the history of mankind? I looked at her quizzically. Baby, you're way out there. Yeah, a blush of anger spread over her face. That's just it, Danger. She pointed a perfectly manicured forefinger at me. You're being ripped off. We're all being ripped off. You and me and every other dumb sucker in this country. Tell me something I don't already know, baby. All right, that's gives you the flavor, I think. And I kind of like the way you caught baby your way out there. I talk about this on a daily basis for the last 20 years, and I still get accused of that. Give me a little bit of your history here, Bill. Bill Samsel is my guest, folks, and give me a little bit of your history. What and you know, whatever convinced you to become a writer. You know, I used to make really good money, and then I became a writer.
Yeah, tell me about it. Let's see. Well, in 1998, I began doing some research and started to write a book, which was published in '99, entitled "The Atlantis Connection."
Ooh.
And yeah, well,
I'm sorry. I'm working on one with that in mind too. But go ahead.
oh, are you? Okay.
Yes, sir. And that's up on my website, by the way. It's called the Lucifer Legend.
Ah, okay. Well, the Atlantis Connection came out in '99, and I always say, if you're looking for Atlantis, you don't have to look very far. Just look around you, because the United States of America is today's new Atlantis. It's being destroyed from within. And in 2004, I rewrote the book. I did an edit and a rewrite on it, and it was published by TGS and available through Hidden Mysteries. And the name of the second edition was Today's New Atlantis. That was in 2004. I'm also a musician, and I've been a musician my entire life.
What do you play?
I play guitar, keyboard, bass, vocals, a little bit of Native American flute, some sitar. That's about it right there. But in 2007, I began a recording project, and I recorded a CD entitled Renegade. And this CD had songs on it that were, let me see, some of the songs on it was Madison Avenue Mentality, Deprogram If You Can, Everything Is Fine, New World Order Coming to Your Town, Move It All to China, or The Sheeple. So you get the drift of what the lyrics were all about on this CD. And when it came out in 2008, totally ignored by the media. I couldn't get reviews, I couldn't get write-ups, I couldn't get it on the air, nobody would touch it. So, that was in 2008. Then I stumbled upon the idea of creating Charlie Danger. Now, I'm a big fan, I don't know, of old-time radio. The old radio shows from the 30s and 40s and 50s. And I'm a big fan of...
the Shadow knows.
The Shadow, who knows what evil. Johnny Dollar, Philip Marlowe, all those old radio shows. And I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a radio show, but I'm going to do it in print. And it's going to be comedy. It's going to be like, I would say it's reminiscent of the Police Squad or Police, what do they call it? Police Academy?
Police Academy, yeah.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen, that kind of comedy. And I would parody the old detectives. Now, there's two reasons why I did this. Number one, because I've been awake, I guess you can say, since 95, 96. And I do keep up with what's going on out there. I listen to Alex Jones, I listen to Republic Broadcasting, and I've got to hand it to you guys. To be immersed in this stuff every day, and to be listening to it over and over, bad news, bad news, bad news. It can get to you, you know what I'm saying? It can get to you after a while, all this bad news, and I just don't see how you guys deal with it. Myself, I think people need a break.
Well, you know, I have tried to do that too. You know, I've tried to come up with positive solutions. Liberty Villages is one of those. But then again, you know, most people don't understand that we are in a war here. We are actually in a war, and they've declared it. The war is on the Constitution. The war is on this country. This war is on the next Atlantis, or the old the new Israel. You know,
New Atlantis.
The New Atlantis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe, you know, I believe all of these civilizations around there, starting the Bible Chronicles, were started by the Atlanteans.
Well, I think what we need is a break, and I think the people who are awake and who listen to this stuff every day need a break. They need something to read that's going to cheer them up a little bit, and that's what Charlie does. Because Charlie's fighting the New World Order. He's out there fighting the New World Order, him and his sidekick, Sherlock Holmes. And it's comedy. It's entertainment. It'll take your mind off of all this stuff for a short period of time. Then there's a second reason why I wrote this. And the second reason is because we need to wake up people. I mean, we've got to spread the word about what's going on out there. One of the ways that we can do this is through comedy. Joe out there, Joe Blow and Mary out there that don't have a clue about what is going on will read a detective story and a comedic, a parody story.
Now, you know, I tell people a lot of times, you know, some people have read my books back in Miami and you know, came in, well, this is you, you're writing about you, Clay. I said, no, my character's younger, better looking, got more money, and kill more people than I have, you know. but you know, you've got an interesting mix of character. Here's a sexy blonde and with you know, high heels and all that, but she says things like this. Suddenly, all the anger and emotion she'd been holding back seemed to burst out of her in one big gush. What's the matter, Danger? Don't you get it? It's all a part of a plan, the plan to bring us down. You, me, and all of the little people, all of the decent, good, honest people out there, Mr. Danger. Why? Because a bunch of dirty, rotten rats just can't get enough, and they want it all.
Exactly. See, so this would appeal to somebody who knows what the score is, and at the same time, somebody who doesn't have a clue can read this, and they'll laugh their butts off, and at the end, when they get to the end, and they get to the author's note where I say, you know, I've wrote this story as a comedy, but the North American Union does truly exist. They're implementing it without the knowledge of the American people.
Well, I mean, they just don't mention it by name. They called it the North American community. The North American community. They didn't want to use Union. We might have made the connection between the European Union, the African Union, and the Soviet Union.
Oh, sure. It's all newspeak and words that have different definitions, just the opposite of what you would think they do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely.
And this, I'm assuming, I'm assuming this is part of the comedy here because I got a chuckle out of it. I,
Okay.
we have. She says, she hands Charlie Danger $300. She heads for the door. She looks back at him seductively. If you play your cards right, mister, you might get a whole lot more. I'll be seeing you. I'm getting hang on a minute. I'm getting an echo here. Let me see if I can cut that down. Okay. Then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. 3 bullets came slashing to the window behind me. They were so close, I felt them buzz right past my head. One of them took out my desk lamp. The other 2 buried themselves in the wall. Then, if that wasn't enough, 3 more came whizzing through the glass of my office door and buried themselves in front of my desk. 2 shooters. 2 shooters. I lay there on the floor. Several more bullets buzzed through the air. Then smoke and dust settled. I threw on my coat and hat, cautiously made my way to the street and my second-hand Nash convertible. was that a little Nash Rambler or what?
I thought it was a Rambler, wasn't it? Nash was made by Rambler, I believe.
Yeah, the Rambler was made by Nash. I'm not sure how that went.
Mm-hmm. But you got to get to the good parts. You got to get into the book there a little bit to get to the good parts, like where they go to Bohemian Grove. They infiltrate the Bohemian Grove, and they meet Kissinger and Schwarzenegger and David Rockefeller, and it's quite interesting what happens to them at the Bohemian Grove. But they also, Charlie winds up in the Oval Office. He winds up in the Oval Office with President Obama, and he gets into a little fisticuffs with him. He gets into a little fisticuffs with George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and Dick Cheney. So he gets into some situations there. And like I said, in the second, there's a second one coming out. There's a Charlie Danger #2 coming out. And that one is entitled Border Disorder. And in Border Disorder, that's a good one because Professor Mariachi plans on disintegrating all of the borders in the world. and he's dead serious about this. He's not going to just eliminate the Mexico border and the Canada border. He's going to also disintegrate the cities, towns, counties, states. Even the lot that your house sits on, you won't be able to tell where it starts and your neighbor's house starts. So we have a really nasty guy here who wants to create the North American Union. Now, in Charlie Book 2, they team up with, let me see here. Who do we team up with in Charlie 2? We've got Lou Dobbs. We have Lou Dobbs in there. Now, he jumps out of a B-17. We also have, Glenn Beck is in there. And Wolf Blitzer is in there. It really is funny, but it really will wake up the people who don't have a clue, and that's one of the most important things about it.
Now, everything that you're talking about in this book, everything that you mentioned on this program, I've been writing about the Free American for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the plan for one world government. And that's been around for 200 years, but you can't read about it because, oh, let's see, it's written, it's written up in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, but, ooh, that's a forgery, and even though it was written 200 years ago, and even though everything that talks about is happening here, and the plan is to put Lucifer at the top of the pyramid, I'm not even, the deception runs so deep that I've begun to doubt that Lucifer, who the Masons seem to have a lot of respect for, may not be the bad guy after all. You know, what do you get to where the bad guys are? Now, if you go to my site, go to my archives page and read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, then somebody will accuse you or me of being anti-Semitic. This is a form of mind control over the American people to avoid looking at who. What do you get into that? I mean, this is the reason, because I talk about the Jewish aspects all the way, you know, back to the biblical days. You know, I mean, Jesus railed at the Pharisees. Jesus told us to beware of the Jews that say they're Jews but are not, or of the synagogue of Satan. Do you deal with that in these books at all?
I am in the process of writing Charlie 3 right now. And Charlie 3 has to do with mind control, population control, propaganda, the mainstream media, and it's going to be pretty good because the television set is a monstrosity. It is a mind control machine.
The
And
ultimate mind control. It's a hypnotic. It literally hypnotizes you while it relaxes your mind while these signals are pulsing. They don't call it programming for nothing.
Exactly. That is why the American people are sitting on their duffs, allowing this to happen, allowing these plans to progress, because they are uninformed. They're not getting the true story, the important stories, the truth that they need. And Charlie 3 is going to address the propaganda. It's going to address the mind control.
There's one other aspect of this. There's one other aspect of this. Let me just interrupt you for a second and ask you about this.
Sure.
If you covered this, I believe that the American people are being poisoned on a daily basis. We got more cancer. We've never. There's nobody else got as much cancer as we've got. They're talking about half of the people practically being having some form of cancer. We got the chemtrails, and worse than that, we've got the pharmaceutical industry. Every other commercial on television is trying to sell you a pill that you probably don't need. You know, and they tried that on me in the hospital. They, well, make sure he takes this medicine. Make sure he takes this medicine. And my answer is, hey, the only medicine I need is a joint and a Harley. Get everything else away from me.
There you go. Now, yeah, I'm planning on.
Oh, and the vaccines. Weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction list vaccines. That's there too.
Yes, indeed. Weapons of mass destruction that never existed. Yeah. No, I've got, like I said, Charlie 2 is finished. Charlie 3 I'm working on. Charlie 4 is going to deal with the greatest financial heist in the history of mankind.
Well, now let's talk about that. What this actually happened. Isn't that?
Yes.
I mean, I saw it happening. I heard about it on television. I heard about it on radio. You know, and they can't even blame it on Obama. They let George Bush give away $2 trillion to who? Oh, the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank that prints money. They printed the money. They gave it to themselves, or they gave it to all their buddies around the world, and they call it a bailout. Is that the one you're
The
talking
bailout.
about? Or are you
No.
talking about the multi-trillions of dollars made off of the war that was started by blowing up their own building?
I'm talking about the bailouts that took place, that these people have absolutely no authority under the Constitution of the United States to turn that money over to these private concerns. And,
They wouldn't even tell us about it for a long time. We're just now finding the Federal Reserve is just now releasing who they gave the money to. All the banks, all their banking buddies in Europe, all Rothschild connected.
Exactly. It is criminal. It is totally criminal. And most of your politicians in Washington know exactly what they're doing. It's not a mistake. These people are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. So it's imperative that people pay attention to what is going on here.
James Forrestal, as Secretary of Defense, was talking with Joe McCarthy, and McCarthy said something about them being stupid, and Forrestal disagreed. He said no. He said consistency is not the mark of stupidity. Yeah, if they were just stupid, occasionally they'd make a mistake in our favor. They threw him out of the 10th floor of the Bethesda Naval Hospital for saying that.
Exactly. These people know exactly what they're doing. And it's traitorous. These people are traitors. They are traitors. Now they're going to turn around and they're going to make the American people pay, and pay dearly, I might add, for these bailouts. Well, they had no authority to go through with.
The $2 trillion could have paid off the mortgage, paid off the banks of every
Yes.
American, every homeowner. We could have paid off our mortgages, and that money would have gone to the banker. But instead, they repossessed your houses. They've taken away your jobs. They took the money as a bailout, and they took your property.
Oh, yes, definitely. And they're not finished taking your property either. We're
Well,
going to be taking a lot more property before this is all over with.
well, it says. I mean, it's not like they're doing anything in secret. Exactly. Here, I've got the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. Number 1 is abolition of private property. Oh, number 2 is heavy progressive income tax. Oh, number 3 is abolition of all rights of inheritance. And, of course, number 4, confiscation of property of all the immigrants and rebels. And number 5, central bank.
Exactly. Exactly. They know exactly what you're doing. So it's imperative that we get the word spread out there. But it's very difficult to do, especially if you write a book and it says New World Order in there somewhere. Forget about it. They're not going to touch it. You're going to have a hell of a time getting publicity or getting your message out there. So it's very difficult today. Constitution is the one thing that we need to reinstate. We need to go back to the Constitution, and that's very important, extremely so.
We do,
So,
we people are trying. I mean, I've been trying to get this information out, and you're right. My name, Clayton Douglas's name, is on some kind of watch list. We know it's on a watch list by the government, but that also means that publishers won't touch my work. Mm-hmm. Advertisers are contacted and said, "Oh man, if you're advertising in this rag, we're never going to do business with you again. We're going to tell all of our friends, don't do business with you."
Well, sure, of course.
What about the control of the media? I mean, we've got we got a lot of people out there that have written good books, and they got them published years ago. Alexander Solzhenitsyn exposed what communism was, exposed the Jewish influence there in Russia, and he finally got a Nobel Prize. But
I tell you what, that's why I'm so glad that